I'm repeating myself. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today's video is going to be pretty brief, well at least I hope it will be. I'll just be discussing the interview process that I went through. Now I of course only applied to one university, so it may be different for others, but hopefully it'll give you some sort of idea on what to expect. So if you haven't already, please check out my first ever video, which was about writing a personal statement, as this will follow on from the first one. So please like, comment, subscribe, and write down any video ideas or anything you may have, and or questions even, and I'll get back to you. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Congratulations, you submitted your personal statement and you now have an interview offer. How exciting! It is nerve-wracking nonetheless, but it is an important step. If you have an interview offer, it shows they are very interested in you and want to get to know you better. Now, it's quite daunting, I must admit, having an interview, but just remember they're humans as well, okay? So try not to get too nervous about it, and as long as you prepare, everything should go great. So the first thing I need to point out is I've only had the interview experience with Swansea University, so it may differ at other universities, especially in England. Swansea is the only provider of the course in Wales, so again, it could be a completely different process elsewhere. So for me, I have my little notebook here. For me, there was a panel of 4 people on both occasions for my interviews. Now, they tend to consist of paramedics, lecturers, service users such as volunteers as well, and there tends to be one person leading the interview panel. So it's quite daunting, as I said, being sat in front of 4 or 5 people trying to sell yourself to the university. So don't panic, keep calm, do your research, and you should be okay. So just a little summary of the timings. So I applied on the 7th of October. That's when I submitted my personal statement and application through UCAS. The interview offer came 18th of March, so it's quite a long while, but again, universities in England tend to be quicker in responding. So I've known of people that have applied and had an interview offer within a month, and others that have not heard back until UCAS track closes. So it does differ greatly. So 7th of October I applied, 18th of March is when I had an interview offer. The interview was on the 25th of March. So they only give you a week to prepare. Now some universities, again, they give you a reading list, some articles to read, and then they ask you about it in the interview. But with Swansea University, there wasn't anything like that. So then 25th of March I had my interview, and then I got offered a place on the 28th of April. So it's quite a time of waiting and sitting, nervously pacing, but it's they've got to be quite thorough, and there's only so many places. Now that leads on to my third point. With Swansea University, again, it could be different in England and Scotland and Ireland, but for Swansea, this year alone, 900 applications for the Paramedic Science course and only 75 spaces. And those spaces are dependent on the Welsh Government's allocation. So that basically means that if the Welsh Government decides they don't need any paramedics within 3 years, then they won't go ahead with the course. But if they say need 60, then Swansea University will assign 60 places for the course. So it's very nerve-wracking, I must admit. I'm using that word a lot, but it is. But it's worth it, guys. Trust me, it's worth it. So as I mentioned earlier, some universities give you a reading list, articles, some research to do, but Swansea University didn't. I'm not sure how specific I'm allowed to be, because I know when it comes to the interview processes themselves, a lot of universities tend to be quite strict with what you can share. But this was sent out to me in an email, so I'm assuming it's okay to share this part with you. So they give you some bullet points of what will be discussed. So I'll go over them with you now. So motivation towards a career in paramedic science, communication skills, awareness of the demands of the programme, understanding the role of the paramedic, knowledge of current issues within the NHS, demonstrate an understanding of what is meant by care and compassion. Now, if you watched my previous video, you'll see that I've included a lot of little tips that you could put in your personal statement. And within the interview process, they do sometimes go over your personal statement with you. So you need to make sure you need to remember what you wrote, because they sometimes question you about it. So the things I mentioned in the previous video, like the 6 C's of the NHS, such as care, compassion, etc., they will ask you about that, so you need to make sure you know all about it. I'll just quickly break these down. So motivation towards a career in paramedic science. So you need to show that you're motivated, you really want this is what you've always wanted, this is why you've applied, and you know what to expect. And it's just things like that, basically. So communication skills, of course, it's an important skill to have within the profession. So you need to show that you're actively listening and then communicating properly, eye contact, waiting before answering. And I think a big thing I read online was you should wait before answering so that your answer is clear and concise, rather than trying to answer too quickly and stumbling over your words, going So before you answer, just take a minute, well, not a minute, a few seconds to gather your thoughts and then explain your answer. So awareness of the demands of the programme. I mentioned this in my previous video. Look on the university website at the course and familiarise yourself with what placements are going to be like, what the exam process is, everything that's available on the website. Make sure you understand about the programme. There's no harm in emailing them either, asking them about it, because they'll be more than happy to share the information with you. So understanding the role of the paramedic. Again, this is more just a research thing that you can do. I'm sure that most of you, if you're applying to become a paramedic, then you would understand the role of a paramedic. First and foremost is to save lives, but you also need to know that there are other aspects to the role of being a paramedic. This can include working in primary care, on oil rigs, the helicopter. There's a variety. Paramedic is never just a paramedic. This is also a good point to bring up is the College of Paramedics career framework. If you have a look on their website and have a look at that, it's good to discuss that in your interview. I'll put a picture up here so that you may see. So if you mention that in your interview, that's always a good thing, because then you're showing that you're aware that you can progress in your career. So the next one is knowledge of current issues within the NHS. So this is more or less just the research going on at the moment and things that are in the news. I mean, there's constantly things in the news about the ambulances, about waiting times, new trials, loads of different things like that. Just make sure you mention a few. And then lastly, to demonstrate an understanding of what is meant by care and compassion. Like I said earlier, remember to look at the 6 C's of the NHS core values. You could also mention the core values of the trust, your local trust, ambulance trust. And they may ask you about a time that you helped someone, or you may need to share an experience where you gave first aid, etc. So the interview process does vary quite a lot. I'm not sure there's much else I can share on interviews because, again, I've only had the interview experience with one university. But if you have any questions, just ask them below and I'll try my best to answer them. There's pretty much nothing else in my notebook. It's a shame I can't share more with you guys. But in terms of preparation, this is a great book to have. Although this focuses mainly on when you've qualified, it does give you an idea of what you may be asked in the interview and the best ways to respond. I personally made, I can't find it anywhere, but I made this giant, what's it called? Like flip book. I can't remember the word. I'll remember after stopping this video, guaranteed. But it's like I had loads of cards like this, and I put common interview questions for the course and my answers underneath, and I put them on a giant keyring and I just read through them constantly every day just until I perfected my answers. I also read these are amazing. They've got loads of research and interesting articles that are worth reading. So if you haven't already, join the College of Paramedics and you will get one every 3 months, I think. Yeah, every 3 months. Sorry about that. And that's basically it. So next week, I'm really excited about next week. I'm going to do a university haul. I've got everything I need ready for university, so it's going to be more of a relaxed video next week. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. I'm sorry I couldn't be more specific, but hopefully it'll be a little bit of a help to you guys. So until next time, bye!